Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Heart to Heart with Shikha, and today's conversation is about ancestral and generational trauma. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Shikha Sepai and I'm a certified hypnotherapist and a past life regressionist. I'm an ex-IT professional and I was spiritually awakened in October of 2020, and since then my purpose in this lifetime has been about helping other people transform their lives by healing from all the trauma they have been subjected to either in this lifetime or in their past lives. Today, we are talking about another kind of trauma that comes from our ancestors and the generations before us. And this is what ancestral and generational trauma is about. So the question is that, do we all have ancestral generational trauma? So the answer is mostly yes. We all have had several lives on this planet, and so whatever we have been subjected to in our past lives and our ancestors have been subjected to in our past lives also gets passed down onto us in some way or the other. And that is what we are going to be talking about, how and what it is, and how we can heal from it. So how do we even identify that we have any kind of ancestral generational trauma with us? The way we can identify is by first understanding what is our trauma. What trauma do we have that belongs to us from this lifetime? And that is what you have experienced on a personal level, growing up as a kid, in your young age, as a teenager. So everything that you have been subjected to is your trauma. So maybe you grew up in a household where your parents were, a certain way, and they treated you in a certain way, or you were in school or college, you were subjected to bullying, other kinds of abuse. So all that is because we have experienced that firsthand, and that becomes our personal trauma from whatever we have been carrying, or the karma we have been carrying with ourselves. And we can heal from that by doing the inner child healing, by having the past life regression and identifying what is the past life karmic patterns we are carrying and releasing those and healing from those. But when it comes to the ancestral and generational trauma, then we have to trace it back to the history of our generations before us and our ancestors before us. So if you have a condition in your family that has been, being passed out from one generation to the other. So I'll take even for physical health, if there is a disease that has been passed on to you from your mom or your dad, and then it was passed on to them from their parents and so on, or your uncles or your aunts and your cousins, many of them have that kind of issue. Then you know that it is something that has been there in your family and it's being passed on to you. There is two types of trauma. There is external and there is internal generational trauma. The external is based on the environment people grew up in. And so if somebody grew in a very poor family, like if your ancestors came from a very poor family, and in spite of everything that is going on in your life, somehow you're not being able to hold on to that money. So that means that there has been a pattern going on in your family where there's a constant loss of money and you're not being able to, be a prosperous person in spite of all the efforts and everything that's going on. Like if you had a business, you will have a big loss in your business. And so that is something known as the environmental or external generational trauma coming from your ancestors. And there is actually a research going on, and it's called the science, like it's the epigenetics, where they are studying that how your genes get affected by the environment you were subjected to. And the code, everything that has been coded in your genes gets passed on from one generation to the other, just based on the environment they were exposed to. And so that happens. And then, of course, then there is internal ancestral trauma. That is basically like if you have unexplained anxiety disorders in your family, or mental health challenges in your family, which are again being passed from one family to the other, from one generation to the other. And you see that a lot in your entire, like your cousins and your immediate family, and then your uncles and your aunts and things like that. Plus, the suicidal thoughts, the tendencies, like you have the perfect environment, you grew up in a perfect environment, you had loving parents, loving family, everything was very loving, but still you have this unexplained anxiety, unexplained mental health challenges, and these suicidal thoughts. Then you know that this is not something that you got it because of your first-hand experience. It's coming from somewhere else, and that could be an ancestral trauma. So if you were to look at your entire, you talk to your parents, your grandparents, and everyone else, and your cousins, as many people as you can, and see what these patterns are and identify these patterns, then you will learn what is yours and what is being passed on to you from your ancestors. There is a lot of people carry a lot of historical trauma that is also generational trauma that is passed down the line of history, like Holocaust and genocide, and slavery, things like that. That also is a trauma that is being passed from generation to generation. So all this needs to be cleared up, not just for yourself, but also to break that pattern for the future generations that are going to follow you. And it usually happens that there is someone in this line that is chosen to break away from this generational and ancestral pattern, talking in a spiritual way. But that's how it is. I feel that somehow I was awakened to also help my lineage heal from the generational and ancestral patterns that have been continuing in my family. And I had to study a lot and talk to my parents and find out what is being coming down the line. Also the gifts and talents get passed on too. So like I found out from my dad that my grandfather was also a medium. So, and somehow I also inherited that gift from him. And who knows, even before that, there could be people doing that. And then from my mom's side, my grandmother had a lot of religious aspects to her, and I got a lot of those from her. So there are good things and bad things that get passed on to you. So we have to release that trauma. We have to identify those patterns that have been passed on to you from your ancestors, and clear those patterns, break free from those trauma, so that you can heal yourself, you can heal the past generations, and you can heal the future generations, the generations to come, and release your family from the mental health patterns, or if there are some physical health issues, you can actually heal them, and you can just break free from those patterns, so that your future generations don't have to suffer from all of that. There are many ways of doing that. One way of obviously doing it is to kind of connect back to your ancestors and find those patterns, and then do certain prayers, and just thank them for everything that they have given you in this lifetime, and then release all that generational and ancestral patterns that don't serve you. And everything is programmed in your root chakra. So the more you heal your root chakra, the more you are able to release those patterns. I do a lot of spiritual healing for a lot of my clients, and I help them release this ancestral and generational patterns by identifying them and letting them go. So you can work with someone who does this professionally, or you can even find out ways to do that. But you will feel a lot of difference when you are able to release these patterns and get yourself free from this generational trauma, not just for your own benefit, but as I said, for the generations to come. So read more about it, learn more about it, and you can definitely contact me if you would like to know more about it and heal from it and identify these patterns. Yeah. So until next time, I wish you all the very best. Keep living your lives and try to become the best version of yourself every single day and release all your trauma. Live a beautiful, amazing, lovely life you are meant to live on this earth, and help yourself and help others heal constantly. So take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.